The idea of a brand new $10,000 Toyota pickup sounds impossible in 2026, but Toyota is quietly bringing back a name that could flip the entire truck market upside down: the Toyota Stout. This isn't a concept anymore. This isn't a rumor floating around forums. This is a real, production-ready truck aimed straight at buyers who are sick of $45,000 work trucks loaded with useless tech and monthly payments that never end. Toyota knows something most automakers refuse to admit. People don't want luxury trucks. They want affordable, reliable machines that actually work. And that's exactly why the Stout is back. No chrome overload, no massive touchscreen distractions, no inflated price tag pretending to be value. Just a compact, no-nonsense pickup designed for everyday work, small businesses, tradespeople, and first-time buyers who have been completely locked out of the new truck market. The $10,000 price point is the real shockwave here. At a time when mid-sized trucks routinely cross $40,000 and compact trucks aren't even compact anymore, Toyota is aiming directly at the empty space everyone else abandoned. The Stout undercuts everything: Ford Maverick, Hyundai Santa Cruz, even used trucks with 150,000 miles. This isn't competition. This is Toyota declaring war on inflated pricing. The new Stout stays small on purpose, and that's the genius move. It's lightweight, easy to maneuver, easy to maintain, and built for cities, farms, and job sites where massive trucks are more burden than benefit. Short wheelbase, real bed, no unnecessary bulk. This is the kind of truck you can park anywhere, drive every day, and actually afford to own outright. Under the hood, Toyota keeps it simple and proven. No experimental engines, no overcomplicated systems. A reliable, fuel-efficient gasoline engine tuned for durability, not bragging rights. Enough power to haul tools, supplies, motorcycles, and weekend gear without draining your wallet at the pump. Toyota's strategy is clear. Build it to last, not to impress YouTubers. Inside, the Stout does exactly what it needs to do and nothing more. Physical buttons, a basic infotainment screen, durable materials that don't scratch if you breathe on them wrong. This isn't a rolling luxury apartment. It's a work tool. And for a lot of buyers, that's exactly what's been missing from the market. What makes this truck dangerous for competitors is who it's for. Young buyers priced out of everything else. Small businesses tired of financing nightmares. Rural drivers who just want something reliable. Even city dwellers who want a truck without driving a tank. Toyota isn't chasing margins here. It's chasing volume, loyalty, and long-term dominance. And let's be honest, this move exposes how broken the truck market has become. If Toyota can sell a new pickup for $10,000 in 2026, it raises an uncomfortable question. Why can't anyone else? The answer isn't cost. It's greed, bloated trims, and marketing hype that has nothing to do with real-world needs. The Stout isn't trying to replace the Tacoma or Tundra. It's something far more disruptive. It's a reset, a reminder of what trucks used to be before they turned into luxury status symbols. And once buyers see this thing on dealer lots with a 5-figure price tag instead of 6, the entire market is going to feel it. Because once people realize they don't need a $1,200 monthly payment just to haul plywood or commute to work, everything changes. And Toyota knows it. That's why the Stout isn't being positioned as a lifestyle accessory. It's being sold as a solution. And the most important part? This truck isn't coming someday far off in the future. Toyota is timing this perfectly. Right as used truck prices collapse, consumer trust evaporates, and buyers start demanding value again. The Stout arrives at the exact moment the market is weakest, and that's when the biggest disruptions happen. What Toyota is really doing here isn't launching a cheap truck. It's reclaiming the idea that new vehicles should be attainable again. And once that door opens, it's not going to close quietly. And that's why the Stout scares the industry more than any electric truck announcement ever could. This isn't about range numbers or software updates. This is about affordability. And affordability is the one thing automakers can't spin their way around anymore. When buyers walk into a showroom and see a brand new Toyota pickup priced like a used beater, the illusion collapses instantly. Toyota is also betting on something powerful that other brands ignored: trust. Decades of bulletproof reliability, cheap parts, simple engineering, and massive service networks all matter more than flashy screens when money is tight. A $10,000 truck that actually lasts 10 or 15 years is more valuable than a $60,000 truck loaded with features that break out of warranty. The Stout's modular design is another quiet flex. Toyota built it so fleets and individuals can configure it exactly how they need without forcing buyers into overpriced trim ladders. Single cab, extended cab, open bed, enclosed bed, utility racks. All functional options, not cosmetic nonsense. This truck is meant to be adapted, not admired in a driveway. And while everyone else is pushing full electrification whether buyers want it or not, Toyota is staying realistic. Gasoline first, hybrid later. No forced transition, no charging anxiety, no dependency on infrastructure that doesn't exist for half the population. Toyota understands that the people who need a $10,000 truck are the same people who can't gamble on experimental tech. This is also a global strategy, not just a US play. The Stout is designed to be sold everywhere: emerging markets, rural regions, dense cities, which means Toyota can keep costs low through massive production scale. That's something smaller automakers simply cannot match, no matter how aggressive their marketing gets. And here's the part nobody in Detroit wants to talk about. Once a buyer owns a Stout, they're likely staying with Toyota for life. First truck leads to Tacoma. Tacoma leads to Tundra. Brand loyalty is built at the entry level, and Toyota just reclaimed it in one move. Dealers may not love it. High-margin trucks are their profit machines. But consumers will. And in today's market, consumer pressure is finally starting to matter again. A truck like this forces every showroom conversation to change, because suddenly the question isn't, how much can you finance? It's, why does this cost so much more? The Stout also reshapes the used market overnight. When a new warranted truck exists at $10,000, inflated used prices become indefensible. Sellers lose leverage, auctions cool down, and buyers regain power for the first time in years. That ripple effect alone could destabilize pricing across the entire compact and mid-size segment. And remember, Toyota didn't revive the Stout name by accident. This is nostalgia weaponized. It taps into an era when trucks were honest, simple, and built to work. That emotional connection matters, especially right now, when buyers feel burned by the auto industry. What's coming next is the real question. Once the Stout proves there's massive demand for ultra-affordable trucks, competitors will scramble to respond. But retooling factories, cutting features, and accepting lower margins isn't something legacy automakers can do overnight. Toyota moved first, and first movers set the rules. And as more details keep surfacing, one thing becomes clearer by the day. This truck isn't meant to be rare, limited, or exclusive. Toyota wants these everywhere, on job sites, in cities, in small towns. And once you start seeing Stouts in traffic, the idea of paying luxury prices for basic transportation is going to feel more absurd than ever. Because visibility is everything. Once people physically see the Stout rolling down the street, parked at hardware stores, stacked on job sites, the psychology shifts. This truck doesn't need advertising hype. It sells itself by existing. Every time someone realizes that the driver next to them paid less for a brand new truck than they did for a used sedan, the conversation spreads. And Toyota isn't pretending this truck is something it's not. There's no fake off-road persona, no aggressive grill screaming for attention. The Stout looks purposeful, almost humble, and that's intentional. It signals value, restraint, and practicality in a market that's been obsessed with excess for far too long. It becomes the gateway vehicle, whether dealers like it or not. This truck also changes expectations permanently. Once someone experiences a brand new vehicle without feeling financially trapped, they won't go back. That's how loyalty is built, not through marketing slogans, but through relief and trust. And the craziest part? Toyota didn't need a radical design or revolutionary technology to pull this off. They just listened. They watched the market break. They waited for the right moment. And now they're moving while everyone else is still arguing about why prices can't come down. The Stout isn't flashy, it isn't loud, but it's disruptive in the most dangerous way possible, by making sense. And once buyers realize that, the pressure on every other automaker becomes unbearable because the question will keep getting louder and louder. If Toyota can do this, why can't you? And that's exactly the point Toyota is driving home. The Stout is more than a truck. It's a wake-up call to an industry addicted to markups and extras nobody asked for. It exposes inefficiencies, forces competitors to rethink pricing, and reshapes consumer expectations faster than any ad campaign ever could. And here's a detail most people don't even notice yet: the Stout's modular aftermarket potential. This truck is a blank canvas. Bed liners, racks, tool mounts, light bars, everything fits without expensive factory add-ons. It's built to grow with the owner's life, not lock them into a single overpriced trim. That makes it appealing not just to first-time buyers, but to small businesses, contractors, and fleet operators who need flexibility without breaking the bank. Even from a financial perspective, the Stout is genius. Depreciation is slower because it starts at a realistic price. Total cost of ownership drops. Resale stays high relative to purchase price. And in a market where everyone is talking about EV incentives and crazy financing schemes, Toyota is offering clarity and predictability, something that feels almost revolutionary in 2026. The Stout also leverages Toyota's global supply chain quietly but effectively. By using tried and tested parts, proven engines, and manufacturing efficiencies, Toyota keeps costs down without cutting corners on reliability. No gimmicks, no experimental tech to scare off buyers, just a dependable, honest pickup that does its job every single day. And don't underestimate the psychological impact. This truck sends a message to consumers. You don't need to overspend to get what you need. That simple shift in mindset can erode demand for higher-priced trucks overnight. Once buyers experience ownership without financial stress, there's no turning back. But the real disruption comes in scale. Toyota isn't making a few thousand Stouts to create hype. They're aiming for volume, massive availability across the US and global markets. That means this isn't a niche play. This is a full-scale market reset. And once the numbers start showing in dealer lots, the entire pickup segment will feel the shockwaves. And while everyone else is focused on flashy EV launches, autonomous features, or luxury add-ons, the Stout quietly reminds the industry of something they've forgotten. Trucks exist to work, not to impress. And in 2026, that message hits harder than any headline. The combination of price, practicality, and trust makes the Stout not just competitive, but potentially market-leading in ways nobody saw coming. And if Toyota executes this correctly, this could be the single most important truck launch in the last 2 decades. What's next is anyone's guess. But one thing is certain. The Stout isn't just a truck. It's a statement, a challenge, a blueprint for how the market should have been designed all along. And that's why the hype around the Stout isn't just about a low price tag. It's about changing the rules of the game. Other automakers might dismiss it at first, call it too small or too basic, but by the time buyers flood showrooms, the perception will flip. Suddenly, the overbuilt trucks that cost 4 times as much will look ridiculous next to something simple, affordable, and reliable.